Okay, welcome back to a brand new video. This one's kind of earlier, actually. I'm kind of proud of myself since I've been busy. But either way, we are going to be looking at the first official trailer, the first full-on trailer for Eddington, Ari Aster's new movie, which I gotta hand it to him on this one. It premiered at Cannes back last month to very divisive reactions. I'm pretty sure this was in competition there, and I don't know why I just stroked my chin. I feel very pretentious. Okay, but no, it premiered at Cannes, in competition, very divisive reactions. Pretty much across the board, like, you're either gonna love this or hate this, I should say. I got that exact feeling. The first trailer, or the first little teaser that came out, which I've done a video on. You can see my thoughts on it there. I'm gonna try not to repeat myself too much about that one. But it was made pretty clear that this is going to be a very controversial movie with what it's dealing with. The main thing is that it is dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, which a lot of people forget that back in May, I think it's set in May 2020 specifically, there were so many conspiracy theories flying around about what COVID was. I remember sitting there. I was in high school. It was my senior year of high school. Class of 2020, baby. And we didn't really know what was happening. There were so many conspiracies, a lot of people talking about rules that they were exempt from wearing masks and stuff like that. And I don't know, it was a very confusing time. Luckily we're out of that cuz we're outside. we outside, as they say. And looking back on whatever that time was now, arguably we might be in a worse spot in some places, but that's the thing. There was so much hysteria at that time that eventually there was going to be a movie made about this. And Ari Aster is kind of the first one to directly say that this is about COVID. You could argue that, my personal opinion is, I think Wes Anderson's Asteroid City is very affected by the isolation of what happened during the COVID pandemic. That's how I view it, and I think that movie is really helped by that viewpoint. If you ever decide to watch it, just have the idea of isolation in your mind. That's what made that movie really click for me. And this is the first movie that I can really think of where it is directly approaching COVID in a way that's not really fictionalized. It's fictionalized because Eddington is not a real town, apparently, but it is a fictional town made for this, but is taking a bunch of elements that happened in real life and concocting them into this movie. And I wonder what else is going to be in this movie, because it is Ari Aster. His last movie, Beau is Afraid, which I did really like. It was very ambitious and long. Maybe I've seen it since then. I don't know. Maybe I watched it at home at some point. I can't remember. But out of what I could remember, it was very ambitious, but also not really a horror movie. It had horror elements there, though. I feel like if you're doing something like this about real life, I just don't think this would be a horror movie, which is an interesting move for Ari Aster. And is an interesting move for his career, honestly. A guy who really popped with Hereditary and Midsommar. Two insane horror movies, basically. And one of them, I think that's Hereditary, being one of the best horror movies of the past decade. And it's kind of crazy that he's just kind of dropping horror as he goes on, which is fascinating to me. And I want to see how this would go. I feel like even if this isn't something that you're not really a fan of, people are going to be talking about this movie. Mainly because of the cast. It has a lot of star power behind it. Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, Austin Butler. I'm sure there are other people in it, but those are the heavy hitters in this, and like people are going to be talking about it. Pretty much all four of those actors have a very devout fan base, or at least a popular one. I mean, obviously Pedro Pascal is on fire right now, and obviously people really like Joaquin Phoenix. I love all four of these actors actually. What the hell am I doing? I would see anything that the four of them are in, and it's an Ari Aster movie. But this is gonna be a weird movie. I'm pretty sure it will be. So I've yapped for quite a long time. How long has this recording been going? This has been going for 6 minutes. Okay, we're gonna watch the trailer. Oh my god, that's the most I've talked before a trailer maybe ever. So we're gonna watch this trailer. We're gonna we're gonna lock in 1080p. Are we gonna have captions? Auto-generated. No captions. Damn. Come on, A24. You gotta pick this up. Alright, let's do it.
I am recording this. Fair warning. Not really necessary. Look, Joe, 6 feet.
Is that praying?
Oh! That's the mom from Penguin.
And even worse, is it worth it? At the cost of being at war with your neighbors? That's why I'm running for mayor. Mayor of Eddington. Thank you super duper very much. I used to think that you were some big deal. But I am a much better human being than you.
Who are you talking to? There's nobody here.
Husband, sheriff, mayor to be.
You want things simple and neat.
We were in a fight against evil.
These are your streets. No, they're
Wow.
your streets to be fake.
You know how death works out.
People are going to be looking here now.
Keep your own office going, but you're going to run mine.
So you vote Joe Cross, take back our community,
Hell yeah.
save our soul.
Wow.
Your pain is not a coincidence. You are not a coincidence. We
Are not a coincidence.
Look, it's going on.
Whoa.
We need to free each other's hearts.
Okay. I have no idea what to make of that. Okay. What? Come on. What are you doing to me? Ari. Huh. I mean, yeah, it's on the nose. I didn't expect it to be that on the nose. Okay. Let me try to break this down. What's happening in my head right now? I don't know what to do with this trailer. I am completely fine with this movie existing, mind you. Granted, I don't think A24 knows what to do with this movie. I think this had a very different vibe from the last teaser. I mean, well, there wasn't a lot to go off of from that first teaser. That first teaser made it play off like a horror movie. It's Ari Aster. I don't blame him. But now, with this trailer, it is turning more into a Western thriller, which again, fine. I think we kind of knew it was a Western, or at least a Western going into it, because it said the first truly modern Western. But just, again, I appreciate the ambition. It is just, huh. Man, I don't know. That's, I feel like we can very clearly see what this movie is trying to say. I do like that shot of whoever's firing that gun and holding the camera and holding the phone. That's really cool. But I, granted, this is making me very interested in what this movie could be, especially with that little last bit of a bomb. So I guess this movie gets really violent at some point, and it feels like. I guess my one worry about this movie is I want it to be satire. I want it to be a satire of what the hysteria of COVID was doing, at least at the time, and all around other elements. I think the Black Lives Matter movement is a huge element of this movie as well. But this is just, I don't want it to lose sight of that. And I feel like if it really hangs on to that, this could be a very interesting movie. Granted, it's getting me talking right now, so this is inherently a very interesting movie because this is kind of the first of its kind. Because I said that at the beginning. There hasn't really been a movie that's directly tackled COVID. It's interesting that Ari Aster is the first to do it. And it's just, again, it's just fascinating to me. But I don't think, I don't think they know what to do with this movie. I don't think A24 knows what to do with this movie. Which, I couldn't even really tell you what that means. This trailer is so fascinating. It is a good trailer. But I feel like this could be setting up a movie that it very well might not be. This was as I said when it premiered at Cannes, this was a very divisive movie. So, but I don't know what the divisiveness is. I didn't look into it. I don't want to look into it because I want to try and go in with a general public mindset. At least the one as close as I can. Because I'm seeing this trailer with Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, and Emma Stone, and Austin Butler. And from the guy that made Hereditary. And it's not a horror movie. It's about COVID. But, like, I don't want whatever this violent stuff is at the end, which I'm sure would be a fun scene to watch. I don't want that to overshadow whatever this movie's trying to say, if it's trying to say anything, if it's supposed to capture the hysteria of what was going on. I really, it feels like it's nailing that well. But, I mean, admittedly, I am interested in seeing what these characters are doing. I feel like that is the core tenet. I feel like a lot of Ari Aster's movies have had pretty good character work. And even with Beau is Afraid, which is a little bit wonkier in that regard, at least compared to Hereditary and Midsommar, I think, this has even more potential than Hereditary and Midsommar to really hit the nail on the head with satire. And I hope it doesn't lose that, because either way, this movie is either going to be annoying in a good way or annoying in a bad way. Maybe it would line up with your politics. Maybe it would even line up with Ari Aster as a filmmaker, the actors involved. This movie's going to be a clusterfuck, good or bad. That's what I'm thinking now. But I want this to be good. So, I don't know. I'm just going to kind of stop there because I have been rambling. This is the third video I have made tonight, and I have sat through a lot of this. I did not think. Well, I should have now, but this is loaded. So, you know what? I'm going to stop right there. if they do another trailer for this, because this is coming out on July 18th. By the way, 1 week before Fantastic Four. So we're getting double Pedro Pascal in July, which I'm fine with. I like the guy. But we are going to leave it there. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Perfect pause. Well, I had to pause it again. Damn it. Okay. I'm going to play some Mario Kart World. That's the end of the video.